In this week's travel episode, we explore the historical Queen's Pavilion, a place the Queen of England visited before Kazinga National Park became Queen Elizabeth National Park.
In commemoration of her visit, the park name changed from Kazinga National Park to Queen Elizabeth National Park up to today.
She landed here. This is apparently the Kazinga Highway, and here it was just a game drive track. After landing here, she used the car, she drove, she made just reached on the tarmac. So after the tarmac, she drove and reached here, and she used this crater drive.
These are fascinating details in this Independence Weekend escape with fun-filled sights of the king of the jungles and the various flora and fauna. The Queen's Pavilion is what they call it here in the heart of Queen Elizabeth National Park. Now, whether it's Queen Elizabeth being here that fascinates you, or the other kings that he met, the king of Toro, the king of Ankole, and the king of Bunyoro, that fascinates you, whatever it is, one thing stands out, that this place here is historical and a tourism hub in the making here in this part of Queen Elizabeth National Park. My name is Amumpele Bismarck Moses on The Travel Show. This is our unique story of Uganda's most popular game park, Queen Elizabeth National Park, which is found in the western region of Uganda, spanning the districts of Kasese, Kamwenje, Rubirizi, and Rukunjiri. The park is approximately 400 kilometers, which is around 250 miles by road southwest of Kampala. The city of Kasese lies in the northeastern part of the park, while the town of Rubirizi is in the southeast.
And at this time, we have the buffaloes, we have the Uganda cobs, we have the waterbacks, we have the elephants, hippopotamuses, sometimes the lions, hyenas, waterbacks, and other species.
Queen Elizabeth National Park is known for its wildlife, including the king of the jungle, the African elephant, the African buffalo, the Uganda cob, the hippopotamus, warthogs, the Nile crocodiles, leopards, among others. It is home to around 95 mammal species and over 500 bird species. In this particular episode, we engage in an experiential game drive where we track the most sought after species like the lions and the leopards.
Queen Elizabeth National Park is said to be the jewel among the parks in Uganda because of the fantastic landscape, because of the reliability of seeing a lot of what we call the charismatic species, that is the lions, leopards, the elephants, and the bird life. They are all together, I think, over 600 plus species of birds. Then you have got the aquatic bodies where you can get very close, safely on a boat ride to all those animals. So I think that is something unique, which is unusual among the other parks.
A wildlife research tour can also be called experiential tourism, which can make your wildlife research tour excellent in Queen Elizabeth National Park. Using experiential tourism, where tracking devices are used, you definitely find yourself with almost 98% to look at the lions and leopard.
While the lions are at the moment in the northern part, that is north of Maramagambo, there are 60 plus minus 5. Leopards are extremely difficult to count. You would need to spend your life to really know how many there are. And hyenas, there are approximately 30 to 40. Elephants are in the range of 2,500, depending whether you include the ones, sharing that habitat with Kazinga National Park in DRC. So that is what you would say are the populations shared in the northern part of the Virunga and Queen Elizabeth National Park.
Tracking some of these animals helps in research, where findings are kept in the database of Uganda Wildlife Authority for future reference. Wildlife Research Tour also aims at creating a database which contributes to the study of wildlife and birds ecology in Queen Elizabeth National Park. Experiential tourism also includes monitoring of birds and wild animals with locator devices which help to track radio collars of the specific birds and wild animals in the park. How do you visit this park without getting up close to Kazinga Channel? Our host, Kazinga View Resort, gives us a preamble and the connection of the two.
Previously, Kazinga was the name given to this Queen Elizabeth National Park before it was taken over by the Queen of England, who named it, and they named the park after her name, Queen Elizabeth National Park. So my location, and as you are looking behind me, you'll see the channel itself. So you are viewing it. So I decided to call it Kazinga Channel View Resort. That's the necessary.
We come back with fascinating details of the boat ride experience at Kazinga Channel. The Kazinga Channel is a wide 32-kilometer long freshwater channel that links Lake Edward to its smaller neighbor, Lake Joe.
Queen Elizabeth has two sectors. We have the northern sector where we are, where Mwea Falls in 1925 was called Lake George Game Reserve. And in the southern part, where it is famous for tree climbing, Lion Ishasha, was Lake Edward in 1930. So those two game reserves remained working independently until 1950, when two game reserves were merged to form one national park called the Kazinga Channel, basically basing on the channel that joins Lake Edward onto Lake George.
Boat cruises are the best way to immerse yourself in the plethora of wildlife that lives in and around the Kazinga Channel.
And after the visitation of Queen Elizabeth in 1952, then the tourists or the tourism in Uganda changed, because they were looking at security, because they say if Queen can visit the place and nothing happens, and there were so many animals, because by that time we had 15,000 hippopotamuses, we had 15,600 buffaloes, we had over 5,000 elephants. So there was over 50,000 Ugandan cubs. So the number of animals were growing, and we got so many tourists coming in.
For first-timers, you enjoy a glimpse of one of the 11 fishing villages that are located within the park.
But we also have some challenges. The challenges, we have some invasive species. The invasive species is not because brought by other things, because of change of climate. Two, if the change of the grazers, if the number of elephants become many, they can over-trampling on the grass. Then others, like spear grass, which can adapt, grow very fast. And some of challenges were, we had the crop raiding. The elephants' numbers are growing. And the elephants have long memories which they pass from a generation to another. And it was so wise in 1952 when we were gazetting this place, we left some corridors. The corridors were links to other parks, but people encroached. And these elephants are still in the back of their brain, still in their memory. So as they try to go back, they find there are some kind of gardens.
The channel is also a popular area for wildlife tourism and excites all personalities.
Choli chitabo nzikiriza nkuwandikemu nze lero kankuwandikemu kusaba byenkutekamu gwe tobi buyaka yo amanya bampitagira fensolo ye Kampala ndi wano ne travel show ne Bismarck yo bayimbi banange musaleko mujje munyumirwe mwana ebintu bereno nga byaka byebisolo bichi bikoze bitya mwana chakabi bideya salute.
Home to a wide range of animals and birds, including one of the world's largest concentrations of hippos and countless Nile crocodiles. Imagine a birthday celebration on the boat. This is one of the best times that tourism is being appreciated by the vast majority of Ugandans. Sailing on the waters of Kazinga Channel in the heart of Queen Elizabeth National Park, that is formerly known as Kazinga National Park. That is before Uganda had gotten independence. And most definitely this is a travel show, and it cannot be as nice without a beautiful couple. John Mark and Helen, how are you, the beautiful couple?
Oh, we're fine. Good. We've really enjoyed.
Have you been to Queen Elizabeth before?
No, it's our first time.
Wow. And you, Helen, is it your first time?
Yeah, it's my first time.
Ah, wow. But you guys, are you married? Are you a couple? Are you fiancé to each other? What's up?
No, we're married.
You're married?
We've made 9 years in marriage. We're celebrating her birthday. It was on 4th October. Yeah, so we decided to celebrate our birthday as well today.
Helen, they were celebrating your birthday and they brought you to Queen Elizabeth National Park. How does that make you feel?
I feel so sweet. I feel so loved, and I thank him so much for doing this for me.
Domestic tourism on the rise.
Queen Elizabeth National Park tuli mukulya sente tobeereeyo nga buli sente gy'olaba ogiramu kasawo ka seminti tambulako olabe ensi wetambula olabe ensi bwefaanana with the travel show with Bismarck.
Indeed, tourism is not something for the Muzungu only.
The hippos, the elephants, the lions I saw in Queen Elizabeth National Park, Kazinga Channel, where we found the elephants drinking their water, the buffaloes, the lions, the leopard, which took us the time to see, but finally we got it by the help of the touring guides. It was really fun.
Did you know that before Queen Elizabeth of England visited this park, it was called Kazinga National Park? We visit the Queen's Pavilion for the captivating details after the short break. Stay with us. The Queen's Pavilion is another attraction in Queen Elizabeth National Park, besides the wildlife endowments. It comes with interesting history. Stephen Nyandru, the Warden Tourism, takes us through the tales.
Where we are is a Queen's Pavilion in Queen Elizabeth National Park. This park was created as a national park in 1952, and the name was called Kazinga National Park. But before that, we had the Lake George Game Reserve and the Lake Edward Game Reserve, which merged to form Kazinga Game Reserve. But later in 1952, it was uplifted, upgraded, gazetted as a national park. Kazinga National Park.
This is the particular place where the Queen of England visited after a game drive in Kazinga Channel. There is also an artistic impression of the Queen's journey around the park. Bernard the Game Ranger breaks it down for us.
She first landed, by that time this was having a fish factory called Tafmak. Just there was the airstrip, she landed here. This is apparently the Kazinga Highway, and here it was just a game drive track. After landing here, she used the car, she drove, she made just reached on the tarmac. So after the tarmac, she drove and reached here, and she used this crater drive. This is a crater drive. So after reaching here, she just came down. Reaching down, this is the main gate, Kabatoro. She crossed to Mwea. After reaching Mwea, this is Mwea Safari Lodge where the lodge is. So, yeah, so probably after lunch, she just joined the boat which we used yesterday. But not the same boat. But
which boat was it? Was it an engine boat by then?
Yeah, engine boat. You see, it was just, these are boats. It was a launch, because those launches were brought in the 70s. So, she just entered the boats. These were security personnel following the Queen. These boats which you see here. So she just used the Kazinga Channel, and this is the bridge.
There is a belief that the Queen's visit made this conservation park very popular until today.
When the Queen, the current Queen of England, came and visited Uganda, and particularly came to Queen Elizabeth National Park. By then, Uganda was under the British protectorate, and we are under the colonial rule. So, when she arrived here, actually the aim was, 1, to see the park, 2, was to meet the 2 leaders of the 2 kingdoms of Ankole and Toro. So, this is where she came and met them in April 1954. In that hut you see there is as old as 1954. Some of your mothers were not even born by that time. So that is where she had a meeting with the colonial, with the kingdoms of leaders of Ankole and the leaders of Toro. And in commemoration of her visit, the park name changed from Kazinga National Park to Queen Elizabeth National Park up to today.
Queen Elizabeth National Park was formed officially along with Murchison Falls National Park in 1952. The park was initially known as Kazinga National Park before it was renamed in 1954 to commemorate a visit by Queen Elizabeth II of Great Britain.
The change of the name of this park to Queen Elizabeth National Park has made this park to be the most famous from that time up to I think 2012, 2013, when peace returned in northern Uganda, then Murchison Falls has become a little famous compared to this. But
this pavilion was constructed for Queen Elizabeth II of England when she visited Uganda in 1952.
This hut was built in 1954 for the visit of the current Queen of England, who came here in 1954, April. And this is the hut where she came and met the kingdom leaders of Ankole, Toro, and Bunyoro here in this hut. And we have a plan of renovating this place, and we are going to put her monument right here, a big one of that age when she came here in 1954, April. We are going to get that picture, plus the photos of those kingdom leaders of Bunyoro, Toro, and Ankole. We shall put all of them here, how they sat and they met and they discussed. That's what we are going to do. This is a very beautiful area, very, very beautiful.
It was later renovated for the royal guests from England in 1954. Basically, the pavilion was erected on a hill where the Queen stood when the park was named after her. From Kazinga National Park or Queen Elizabeth National Park, whatever you may wish to call it, one thing will never change. This national park is endowed and one of the reasons why Uganda is the Pearl of Africa. This is this week's travel quote. 100 years ago, Sir Winston Churchill, who much later became my first Prime Minister, made a celebrated visit to Uganda, upon which he was moved to describe her as the Pearl of Africa. A quote by Queen Elizabeth Alexandra Mary II, the Queen of Great Britain.